Okay, nerds. Oh, look at that. The words aren't matching up with the way the mouth is moving. Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened, but our audio did not work for a brief moment here at the beginning. There's actually a couple of moments here at the beginning where it did not work, so my apologies. But this episode is going to be all about Deadpool retiring. Well, actually, no, that's not entirely true. It's actually going to be about a lot of newsy things, and we're going to get to the Deadpool thing when we get to the comic books section. It's not actually Deadpool retiring. There's a little bit more to it than that, but my apologies for the audio. I really don't know what happened. I thought YouTube was screwing up, but apparently it was my software. I will cut out the reactions or the new music section apparently this week, because that seems to be the biggest chunk of where the audio cut out. There is going to be a couple of hiccups auditorily throughout the course of the episode. It gets much better on the end when we get into movies and television and the rumor mill, which seems to be the thing that most people want to watch anyway. So you still got the good stuff to go check out. So stick around for all of that. Thank you very much for checking out the channel. Don't forget to do the subscribe thing. This is all of the news that is worth talking about, at least as far as this week is concerned. This is a live show because tomorrow is, in fact, a holiday, and so I'm not going to be editing an episode all day on a holiday. I do have, a girlfriend to take care of and things. So all of that being said, this is your live show for the week. We will be back next week with a properly pre-recorded show. And until then, enjoy the news, nerds. I have all the bands in the... I'm just looking for an image. So, the tour... There we go. So, Dethklok tour. Get back to the notes so we can talk about this bad boy. Sorry. Aha! All right, so Dethklok is continuing the Baby Clock tour. Baby Metal is not on all of the dates from this point out, but they are on a few of them. But the big names that are joining the tour is Dragonforce and Nekrogoblikon, and apparently Jason Richardson's solo stuff. So pretty stoked about the Jason Richardson edition. Not gonna lie, because Richardson is kind of amazing. But yeah, it starts April 7th in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, runs through May 3rd in Portland, Oregon. Tickets are definitely available. I will add a link, because apparently I did not do that yet, but I will add a link in post so that you can go get tickets, because they are on sale now, if I'm remembering correctly. And then our other piece, and I know I got the image for this one because I am not entirely incapable. The other tour that we have to talk about is right there. Lamb of God and Mastodon, Ashes of the Leviathan tour. This is the 20th anniversary of both Leviathan and Ashes of the Wake, running from July 19th in Grand Prairie, Texas, all the way through August 31st in Omaha, Nebraska. They are going every freaking where. So, yeah, you definitely should go get tickets to that, because Lamb of God and Mastodon together, it's been a long time since these dudes have toured together, and that is a hell of a show. I'm pretty sure the second time I think I saw Mastodon was with Lamb of God, and that was definitely a night to remember. That is what we have for the music section. We're not doing suggestions this week either, because again, no time for editing. Next, we're moving over into gaming and tech. We only have one piece of gaming and tech, and that is going to require that we go to the Googles again, because I couldn't find an appropriate image for this. So we're going to see if we can do it now. Dungeons and Dragons is the there it is. Dungeons and Dragons is the piece of news that we're talking about. We have, where are we going? Right here? No. There it is. Eve of Ruin. That works. Oh, come on. Image. Open image. Sure. And then we go do this, and then we go whee. So, Dungeons and Dragons. And then back to the notes. Goodness, this is a little bit more cumbersome than I was anticipating. So there is going to be an updated 5th edition to the rulebook is coming out this fall. A bunch of stuff is coming out this year, and then new monster manual in February of next year. We have Player's Handbook is coming out September 17th. The Dungeon Master's Guide is coming out on November 12th. And then, like I said, new monster manual will be out February 18th. These are not a full-on new edition of the game. They are just an updated version of 5th edition. And also launching with this, obviously, as you are looking at right now, Eve of Ruin, Vecna Eve of Ruin, releasing May 21st. It will be preempting a lot of this stuff, but still pretty exciting in the world of Dungeons and Dragons. That's all we got really for gaming and tech. There's honestly quite a bit that I was trying to get into and just kind of ran out of time, so we will cover a fair amount of that next week. Next, we have some comic books and books to talk about, mostly just comic books, and I say mostly, but all just comic books. First one, regular-ass news, we are talking about some DC crossover action. Get the appropriate image up. There it is. So, DC Marvel crossover. There have been a number of times throughout the course of the storied past between these two comic book powerhouses where they have crossed over in many different ways. There's going to be 2 collected editions of these crossover events, documenting them, reprinting them so that all of the material can be in one spot. I've honestly been looking for the Amalgam verse stuff for so long. I'm kind of excited that they're putting it in a collected hardback. Tuesday, August 6th, we'll see the release of both of these editions. It's going to be the DC versus Marvel Omnibus, and then also the DC Marvel The Amalgam Age Omnibus. The Amalgam one is where they combine the superheroes, and then the DC versus Marvel is when they were obviously fighting each other. August 6th, once again, it's going to be at your local comic book shop. Go check it out. Next on the list is Weapon X. I know I got an image for this one too, so let's go find it. Whee! Right there. Weapon X-Men. This is not exactly like mind-shattering new news, but I just thought it was pretty cool for anyone who is a casual reader but hasn't been reading much in the recent past because, you know, hasn't been super great, but this one looks like it's showing some promise. So we have a new book. It's called Weapon X-Men, written by Christos Cage, art by, I'm not going to say this person's name correctly, and I apologize, Ilandre Sinar, I think maybe. They're putting together a team of Wolverine. So we're going to see the return of the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine, who you see right there in the center with one hand. I don't know who the fat slob Wolverine is. I'm very intrigued to see who that is, the guy in the back there. Zombie Wolverine, we have Old Man Logan, and over here, if you see, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not right now, but the female over here is... what the heck was her name? Jane? I'll pull it up. Goodness. Look at me. Comicbook.com. Copy link. Paste. Her name is... Jane Howlett. There. Yeah, I was close. Jane Howlett. So they're all from different universes. All of these versions of Logan obviously are from different universes. They're going to be fighting a new version of Onslaught. I think this is the thing that really kind of piqued my interest, because Onslaught is a villain that I kind of dug for a while back in the 90s. I don't know. I feel like he was not fully appreciated and fully properly used. But this one is a different Onslaught. This is not the same Onslaught from the 90s. The Onslaught from the 90s was an amalgamation of Professor X and Magneto. All of the really bad parts of their brains created Onslaught. This version of Onslaught from a different universe is going to be an amalgamation of Magneto and Jean Grey. So it is a female version of Onslaught. And I think that's kind of interesting. That's an interesting way to go. That is that. Back to the notes. We have... Oh, here we go. This is the Deadpool retiring piece. Let's get to the image appropriately. Oops. Cancel. Where are you? Where are you, buddy? Where are you? Right there. Deadpool. Original creator Rob Liefeld has announced that he is going to be retiring from Deadpool. He's not going to be writing for the character anymore. He created Deadpool 33 years ago. He didn't really go anywhere with the character for a while. Left the project. And then I'm going to brain fart the artist who took over for a while. So let's see if I can honestly find... It's irrelevant. I interviewed one of the main writers who wrote Deadpool that kind of gave him the voice that everybody knows him by today. But Liefeld is the guy who created him. Liefeld is the one who still catches all of the royalty checks whenever they put him in a movie. And yeah, he's retiring. He's not going to be writing for the character anymore. He's not retiring from writing altogether. I'm sure there's some sort of behind the scenes stuff going on where he just doesn't want to write for the machine anymore effectively, because he's kind of that guy who's just overworking for a major publisher, especially in modern age. So yeah, 33 years. He's hanging up his black and red cowl and moving on, I guess. And then our final piece of comic book news has to do with... I'm going to do this, and you've already seen the image a couple of times at this point, but whatever. 2099. The 2099 universe is making a return. Check on the stream. Everything's going just fine. 2099 is making a return. We've known that Spider-Man 2099 is coming back. It's been in the previews for some time at this point. But the entire Earth 2099 universe is going to be coming back this summer. No specific dates on anything necessarily just yet. Let me double check myself, which again I can do in real time when we do this format. Copy link, paste. Yeah, I do not see specific release dates for any of them, but it looks like we're going to be seeing, obviously, Miguel O'Hara is being done by Steve Orlando. We'll see Werewolf by Night 2099, Zombie 2099, Dracula 2099, Terror Incorporated 2099, Man Thing 2099. Yeah, all of these guys are being teased as getting books, but we won't know specifically until the previews come our way, or the solicits rather, and that has not necessarily happened yet. So that is what we have for comic books and books. Let's move over to TV news, episodic content. First things first, super excited about this one. Let's get back into images this way. Nope, this way. We're talking about this guy right here. Invincible is returning. Invincible season... What season are we in? Season 2? Season 3? Season 2. Season 2, the return for the second half of Season 2 has been announced March 14th. That's pretty exciting. Speaking of Season 2s, we also have a Goosebumps announcement. Goosebumps has been picked up for a second season. If I can get to the Goosebumps image. There it is. Goosebumps has been picked up for a second season, and now we know a little bit more about the series. It is going to be anthological in nature, much like American Horror Story, where each season is unto itself instead of each episode, like Tales from the Crypt or what have you. So it is going to be effectively American Horror Story for teens, for tweens. And so it's going to be an entirely new cast, which is a little bit unlike American Horror Story, where they have a kind of a core revolving cast. This is going to be an entirely new cast and an entirely new story revolving around the R.L. Stine universe created in the Goosebumps books. That's pretty freaking cool, not gonna lie. If you haven't watched the first season of Goosebumps, it's pretty well worth a watch. I definitely had fun watching it. We have trailers to talk about here. I'm not even going to try. We're just going to look up a better image because I can't play the trailers while we're going live. That is for dang sure. But the one trailer that we have has to do with Star Wars. And it is... Oh, if my connection will not poop out on me, we'll get there quickly. Open image. Zoom. Oh, it's not going to let me zoom. I'll zoom the slow way then. Whee! This bad boy right here. Bad Batch. Bad Batch, the final season, has dropped its first trailer. Looks like it's going to be more solid programming from the Bad Batch. Very exciting. I have a lot of catching up to do on Bad Batch. I just have not been super on Star Wars. I still haven't watched Andor, so it kind of is what it is. Then let's move into regular news. We have a new prequel for the Game of Thrones franchise. This is a prequel to the prequel. Find my dragons. Oops, wrong direction. Dragons. Game of Thrones is getting another prequel. This one is going to be called Aegon's Conquest. It is going to be set previous to the golden... I can't even think of the name of the show that's going on right now. House of the Dragon. There we go. House of the Dragon. I was going to say Golden Bones. That is a Stone Sour record. It's pretty interesting that they are really leaning in on this. Mattson Tomlin is going to be the showrunner on the project. Mattson Tomlin, you might recognize that name because he was a writer on The Batman. He's a writer on The Batman 2. Also, helping with the movie or the series adaptation of the graphic novel Berserker that was from Keanu Reeves, is working on the Terminator anime at Netflix, working on the Mega Man movie. He's in a lot of stuff right now, and also did Project Power over on Netflix with Jamie Foxx. So the name should be fairly familiar to you. He is going to be the showrunner on this Game of Thrones prequel to the prequel. So that's interesting. We'll definitely be keeping tabs on that one. Our next piece of music, or of news... Whoa, I said Stone Sour. Now I got music on the brain. Next piece of news has to do with... This one's actually a couple of weeks old, but I feel like there's larger implications here. Let's see if we can find the image that I got for it. Right there. WWE and Netflix have signed a $500 million contract, which is just about double their previous contract for Raw. I'm sorry, $5 billion contract. Their previous contract for Monday Night Raw was $2.5 billion apparently. And now they have a $5 billion contract with Netflix. So we don't usually talk about wrestling on the channel. We're talking about it now because, I feel like there's larger implications here. Those being, Netflix is about to roll out is rolling out as we speak, I guess, their subscription, the ad-based tier to their subscriptions, and they're going to be phasing out the lower subscription stuff. Right now, honestly, you can't even purchase, if you are not already a subscriber, you cannot purchase the low-tier subscription. You have to get the ad-supported one, which is technically cheaper, but you have to sit through ads. This WWE deal that they signed does not take effect until 2025, so they have a whole year effectively to implement this ad-supported tier and then do live events that is for a show that is already structured around ad breaks. So this makes sense. This is just going to be a huge push on Netflix, pushing towards the ad-based model, because we are learning, as they have been forced to start sharing their numbers with us, that they're not making any money doing this. They're not doing nearly as well as they want. Uh-oh, the audio isn't in sync with the video. Sorry, I was not paying attention to chat. Give me just a moment. That was 20 minutes ago. Well, I guess this is just going to have to go up in post. My apologies. Either way, we got to continue. The show must go on. Yes, so we have a $5 billion deal with Netflix. And yeah, it was... it's going to be an interesting future for streamers, because the current business models just aren't scalable. Like, they don't... You have to basically get everyone in the world paying you in order to make the money that they need to make. So that's not going to happen. Our next one has to do with Taylor Sheridan project. I don't think... Oh, yes, I did get an image for this one. I did. Right. Nope. Where is she? Where'd she go? Right there. Demi Moore. So... This is a new Taylor Sheridan project, like I said, called Landman. Oh, I think I still have... Nope, it's on. Okay, good. It's called Landman. It is not going to be part of the Yellowstone universe, as far as I know, but it is another Taylor Sheridan project, and they have just announced that they have cast Demi Moore in a recurring / starring role. I don't know. I've never really heard... the two used in conjunction like that, so that's interesting, because usually a recurring role means you are a secondary character at best, whereas a starring role would imply that you're in like every episode and you're one of the primary characters. So yeah, just an interesting choice of words. We have the rest of the series is also featuring Ali Larder, who you'll remember from Heroes, Michelle Randolph, who was in 1923, Jacob Laughlin, who was in Joker 2, which we haven't seen yet, Kayla Wallace, When Calls the Heart, I don't know that one, James Jordan, who was in Yellowstone, but again, this is not a Yellowstone-related property, Mark Colley, who was in Nashville, Polly Chavez, who was in the expanding universe of Ashley Garcia, another one I am unfamiliar with. So yeah, Demi Moore set to kind of, sort of, maybe lead that cast. Moving next, we have some movies to discuss. Let me check on the health of the stream right now before we jump into the movies section. Don't exactly understand. I don't understand what's going on with my connection, because it's not... There's no reason why I should be lagging like I am. And I totally am. I really don't get it. Well, I also don't have my GPU acceleration on right now, so that might help at least on my end of things. Turn on. There we go. So that'll help. And then the VOD will just have to go up later. So my apologies, Chris. If you're watching this in post, Mr. Christopher Ortiz, I apologize for the trouble you had watching the live stream. I appreciate you either way, bud. So thank you very much. That being said, back to the news. In movies, we have a follow-up. We finally have some information about the Beetlejuice sequel. So let's find that, shall we? Right there, Beetlejuice. This image says it all. Beetlejuice is the title of the movie officially. Just don't say it a third time, well, yeah. The release date is September 6th of this year, so it's coming sooner than I think we originally anticipated, which is always a plus. So there is that. Our next piece of movie news, we're into trailers. Yeah, we have some trailers to talk about. So first up is the big pink elephant in the room, and that is the Deadpool Wolverine trailer that launched at the Super Bowl. Plenty of in-depth breakdowns all over the YouTubes at this point. So if you haven't watched one, I would suggest New Rockstars. They go into some really good detail. Also, I haven't watched his yet, but Den of Nerds also has usually does really good breakdowns and stuff like this. So that's going to be a good one to watch as well. We do have a release date. We've talked about this previously, July 26th. Again, the proper title for the movie is not Deadpool 3, but Deadpool and Wolverine. The next one also that came out at the Super Bowl is A Quiet Place, Day One. This is the prequel for the horror franchise that we've been waiting for some time. Quiet Place Day One, we have no official release date just yet. Make sure I'm not a liar. But we do have a little bit of a synopsis. The synopsis says, experience the day the world went quiet. Not really a synopsis, just kind of a tagline, but that's being billed as the synopsis, so okay. In it, we have Michael Samosky, directed by Michael Samosky, Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, and Jaimon Hansu. Lupita Nyong'o and Jaimon Hansu, I really dig. I don't really recognize the names Joseph Quinn and Alex Wolff, so hopefully they can, carry some of the weight with Lupita and Jaimon. John Krasinski also obviously returning as writer and producer because he created the damn thing, so you would expect nothing less. Then another one that we've been keeping some tabs on, and I'm super excited because we have to look at the image for this one, and that is Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. So this trailer, I'm pretty sure it didn't play at the Super Bowl, but it's there and you can go look at it. And we have a couple of additions to the cast. We have Tigger this time, and also Owl will be showing up, and you can see them both in the what is the word I'm looking for? Poster. Goodness. But there's a couple other things about this poster that are very interesting. First and foremost, look at our Winnie the Pooh. This is not the same mask we got in the first movie. Neither is the Piglet mask. I kind of dig this Piglet better than the other one because the other one was kind of generic hog. This one looks more like it could be like some sort of demented animated character. The Winnie the Pooh mask, I think, is trying just a little bit too hard. Same thing goes for Tigger. You don't really see much of Owl in the trailer, so that one I don't know so much about, but I don't really have a strong opinion one way or the next. The Tigger costume, though, is cool, but I feel like there's a there would have been, because they did get a lot of money for this, so we know that there, as was helped a few weeks ago when we were doing the live stream, where Chris informed us that he saw reports that they're throwing a couple $1 million, a few $100 million even, at this movie because the first one did so well. If you're doing that, there's a better design, I think, somewhere for the Tigger, not just the mask, but the overall costume itself. Winnie the Pooh feels like the animated character gone dark. This Tigger just looks like edgelord Tigger. Like there's nothing, and the owl kind of how he reminds me of. I think it was something from the other Wizard of Oz movie. I can't even remember the name of it right now. The second Wizard of Oz movie that didn't really fit with the first one. So yeah, very interesting, really worth a watch. Go check out that trailer as well. Our next one, oh boy, I did get the image for this one too, didn't I? Nope, going the wrong direction. There he is, Roadhouse. Prime. It's going straight to Prime. This is the Jake Gyllenhaal reimagining of the Patrick Swayze classic, I guess. Going straight to Amazon Prime. Jake Gyllenhaal's version of the character. I can't remember the character's name, so we're just going to keep calling him Jake Gyllenhaal. As a former UFC fighter, they got Colin McGregor in this one. We've been talking about it since it was announced that it was going to happen. Finally got a trailer for it that actually, it looks totally superficial, but still looks entertaining at the very least, which is kind of what you can say about the original movie. So kudos, I guess. Yeah. Going from there, our other trailer, this one did happen at the Super Bowl, but is of note because we've been keeping tabs on it, and that is Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, somewhere in this roll. There it is. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, we got a new trailer there. I honestly have not watched this one just yet, but it is, again, a movie we've been keeping tabs on, so now that we have our official trailer, May 24th is the release date. Go check out the trailer. It's going to be a lot of fun. Possibly. I mean, I still am holding out reservations for that one. Next, we're moving into some regular-ass news. And in regular-ass news, we've got Predator starting things off. We have another prequel movie that is not the same. It's not a sequel to Prey, and it's not before Prey. It is more closer to modern day. It's going to be called Badlands. It is currently in development. The plot, though, is still speculative. So we do know at the very least it's going to be closer to modern day, if not futuristic, because depending on which news outlet you read, their sources say different things. But it is officially confirmed to be in development. So our next piece, I have two links for. Oh yeah, that's right. We're gonna just go to the second link, I think. Copy link. Next one has to do with Disney's release schedule for the next few movies has been kind of moved around. So let's actually, because I did not get a good image for this one either. So we'll pull up the Googles. Disney release schedule. I don't think that's it. No. There, sure. That looks about appropriate. We'll pull that one up. I don't think it's 100% right, but it's at least enough of a placeholder that we can talk about it. Disney release schedule 2024 through 2031. What we're going to talk about does not go that deep, but checking on stream again. There we go. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Chris. If they do a third movie, they're just going to call it Beetlejuice. Deadpool 3 is going to be amazing. Joseph Quinn is Eddie Munson from Stranger Things. That's why the name sounded familiar. Thank you. Bambi is going to be teased at the end of Winnie the Pooh. Do you have confirmation on that one, sir? I don't think I've heard such things. And then the one from 1985. What? Oh yeah, the Roadhouse, because that's what we were just talking about. Yes, the one from 1985. That is correct. All right. So sorry, just had to address the chat real quick. So let's get back to the notes if I can find them. We have Predator Badlands, just talked about that. Oh, Disney release schedule. So MCU 2024, we have the next one is going to be July 26th, Deadpool 3. That is the only thing that we're seeing in 2024 as far as MCU is concerned. We also have in 2025... let's start at the top. Captain America Brave New World on February 14th. Fantastic Four on May 2nd. Thunderbolts is still on the release schedule in spite of what some of the rumors are saying. Thunderbolts is still slated for a release. It is going to be September 25th. Blade is going to be November 7th of 2025. And then we move into 26 for MCU stuff. We have one untitled Marvel movie for February 13th. And then we have Avengers, what was supposed to be Kang Dynasty. It is still technically Kang Dynasty on the release schedule for May 1st of 26. Then moving from there we go. Another untitled one for September 24th and a fourth untitled movie on November 7th, all in 26. In 27, the only thing I think that's set for sure is Secret Wars on May 7th in 2027. And then we have Star Wars releases. Nothing for 24 or for 25, but we do have an untitled Star Wars movie in May 22nd of 2026. The Mandalorian and Grogu is set for December 18th of 2026, which means that the second release date that they have listed on their thing, which is an unknown Star Wars movie for the May 22nd release, is very possibly going to be the Rey movie. We have a third nameless Star Wars movie for December 17th of 2027. And that could be the Mangold, Filoni, or even possibly the Rey movie. Let's pull up the super detailed list, and I think I'm actually going to do this. Let's copy, paste. So this, of course it's small. Why would it not be small? Zoom. So 2024 films, we have everything from Disney. First Omen, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Young Woman and the Sea, Inside Out, 2, untitled Deadpool movie, which now has a title, Alien Romulus, which is August. I think that's still holding. I don't think that one's changed at all. The Amateur, Moana, Mufasa, The Lion King. I don't remember talking about that. I vaguely remember even reading that was a thing. Yeah, so just a whole lot going on, man. Let's copy paste the other address. Where'd it go? Oh, heck. What the bloody hell? Whatever. Copy. Where'd you go? Copy link address. Then we go to the other one. Paste link address. Nope, that's the same one. Stupid. All right, here's the second one. Many apologies. Paste. Make sure this is actually going where it should be. Good deal. And then zoom. So 26. The only thing up through 2031 is the Avatar movies. We have Avatar 4 in 29 and Avatar 5 in 31. Which is a long ways away. And then most of this is untitled. Yeah, just like we just went over. So, yeah, there you go. There's that. Next on the list of notes. Whatever. Disney release, where are we? 28 years later. I do have an image for this guy, so let's do that, shall we? Oh, yeah, that's the one. That's the other Wizard of Oz. Sorry, I was confused. That would be very interesting. All of the public domain Disney stuff is going to be connected somehow. That would be very interesting. I don't know that there's any sort of connective tissue as far as like the production houses or the directors or writers or any of that stuff. But that would be really cool if they did try that. So yeah, very, very interesting thought you've had there, sir. Let's get back to the notes. We have 28 years. Oh yeah, that's right. I have to find the image. Nope, wrong direction. There it is. All right, so 28 years later. This is the third in the 28 Days Later franchise. This is the first, I think, credited at least with the first mainstream zombie movie with the fast zombies. Though they weren't technically zombies, they were infected. That was the first time that they kind of made that distinction. Cillian Murphy is now on board, but this time he is set to produce. They did leave open the possibility that he might show up in the movie to some degree. Pretty sure his character died at the end of the first movie, so I mean, it depends on which ending you go with, so they could find a way out that way. But yeah, 28 years later, kind of a bit of a fan of this franchise, so I'm pretty excited to see what happens there. Then that brings us into the final section of the regular show, and that is confirmations, or I'm sorry, rumor mill. Confirmations is the first subsection. We do have a couple of confirmations actually, but rumor mill is where we are right now. Let's talk about our first confirmation is Batman right there, Caped Crusader. Batman Caped Crusader. We do have an official word from Bruce Timm himself saying that all of the speculation can be put to bed. Kevin Conroy did not record any dialogue for this show. There will not be a cameo, no voice cameo or anything like that from Kevin Conroy for the show. He will be in the next, I think, 2 animated movies for Warner Brothers Animation, but he will not be in the Caped Crusader series. Also, what I find very cool is that Bruce Timm is saying this animated series, which, by the way, is not going to Max, it is going to Amazon Prime, remember this, is going to be darker than the original animated series from the 90s, which everyone grew up watching, and which is why Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman. It is going to be in the same vein, just darker. So, pretty awesome there. Our other one has to do with Labyrinth. I don't think I got a proper image for this. Let's pull something up. Labyrinth. Yeah, let's do that. Classic Labyrinth image right here. Oh, but it's the tiny one, so it doesn't count. Let's go with that one. That's much better. Open image in new tab. Nope, still not good. Sure, that's fine. That's sufficient. Labyrinth, yay, Labyrinth. Yes, Labyrinth. The sequel is still, in fact, somewhere in development. So there was a director attached to the project, Scott Derrickson, who has said recently in press interviews that he does not know where it stands. He's even alluded to the fact that the project is dead in the water, is not happening in some way, shape, or form. So yes, even if his movie does not get made, we do have word from Brian Henson himself, Jim Henson's son, who now runs the company. He and his sister both. We do have official word from Brian Henson that they're very excited about the project and it will happen. Just how it happens is going to be a matter of detail. So yeah, there's that. Next up, we are into new sources. So this is stuff that we've talked about previously that has new sources surfacing. We have Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't think there's an appropriate image for this. Oh, yes, there is. Huzzah. Thank you very much, Cosmic Book News. So we have AO. Oh, I'm not going to remember her name properly. I apologize. Edabiri. There we go. AO Edabiri. Sure, that's close. Is rumored to be in talks to be the lead for the all-female adaptation of the Pirates of the Caribbean. AO, you remember, is from The Bear, which is one of... Oh, boy, I'm dropping things. Which is one of the, best things on television in the last... Oops. Changing channels, even. One of the best things on television in the last, probably handful of years. So... that's pretty interesting. Now let's talk about the new piece of this, because previously we've talked about the probability that this female Pirates of the Caribbean movie is kind of not going to happen. But now we have new word saying that is not the case, and it is possibly still happening. Disney public domain multiverse is going to lead to the next Avengers Ed game. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about like where they're gonna go. All right, back to rumors. Sorry. So likelihood, because this is from pretty solid sources, so the fact that it's still in the works, I think, is very likely. And the probability that they're actually talking to AO, I'm sure they're talking to as many people who are as relevant as possible. But this is a difficult one to speculate on because she's kind of busy with The Bear, and I'm pretty sure they got signed on. They got it signed on for at least one more season, if not 2 more seasons. So yeah, I don't know that that's necessarily going to be the way of things, but could happen. This is new sources, so we're not giving percentages yet, but yeah, just interesting to consider that because she's kind of one of the it faces in Hollywood right now, that she is going to be the one that they are approaching for the role. Next is a Nintendo Switch 2 rumor. Let's pull that up. Nintendo Switch 2. We actually have a number of things associated with Nintendo Switch 2. The first one, Nintendo Switch 2. Oop. Yeah, sure. There we go. Hey, look at that. Huzzah. All right, Nintendo Switch 2. The Nintendo Switch 2 rumor that we're talking about first is backward compatibility. There have been actually a number of backward compatibility rumors, so much so that basically everyone is accepting that it's going to, at the very least, be some sort of situation like we had with the DS, where it had two different game slots. You had the one in the back that played DS games, and you had the one in the front that played the Game Boy Advance games, which only went back as far as Game Boy Advance, but we have some pretty big industry analysts talking about the likelihood that Nintendo is going to be adding a backward compatibility feature, not just a physical media backward compatibility option, but your digital downloads as well. So that is pretty exciting. The other big rumor here is that we're going to be seeing, and we hear these once a month at least, that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct this week, much like there's supposed to be an Xbox podcast this week at some point. There is going to be a Nintendo Direct. That's rumor. Again, it's not even worth speculating on because we hear them so frequently. So our next rumor has to do with... I just saw it in here right there. No. Yeah, there we go. Ghost Rider. We've heard a number of different Ghost Rider rumors, and actually this one has to do with Ryan Gosling. We've heard a number of Ryan Gosling rumors in recent history as well. This is the first time that has created a proper Venn diagram, though, because we've heard Ryan Gosling was going to play somebody in the Fantastic Four or potentially Doctor Doom. And then we also heard that he was going to be playing Nova, and that's got shut down recently. So now we're hearing that he's actually being considered for Ghost Rider. Gosling as Ghost Rider. I don't know how I feel about that. Like I like Ryan Gosling. I'm not the biggest Ghost Rider fan, but that seems like it would be outside of his desired roles, because he's kind of an obscure kind of dude, and Ghost Rider's not really. So I don't know. Likelihood that Ryan Gosling's going to be actually Ghost Rider, I would put just barely south of 50%. Like there's enough speculation on both sides to say really 50%, but just because if you pay attention to the kinds of projects Ryan Gosling takes, I don't think Ghost Rider would really fall into the category of things he'd be interested in. So I'm going to say that one's probably about 40% likely that we will actually see Ryan Gosling in that role. Next has to do with, and you've seen me flip past this picture a number of times at this point as well, we have Sonic 3 rumor that has to do specifically with one Mr. Jim Kerry. We've talked about this actually previously. It was more speculation on my part. It wasn't industry speculation just yet. But when he announced his retirement from acting, I said, what happens when the Sonic 2 does stupid well, like the first movie did, and they want to make a third one? Well, now they want to make a third one. So the speculation is that Jim Kerry is, in fact, going to, quote unquote, come out of acting retirement in order to play Dr. Robotnik for another movie. I think this is pretty strong. I think Jim Kerry is a person who values money greatly and is very likely to return to this role in spite of his ridiculous announcement that he's no longer going to be an actor. He's retired in his late 50s. So yeah, I would say this is probably like a 75 to 80% likelihood that we'll see Jim Kerry in that role. Next, our final piece of actual rumor for this episode has to do with Miles Morales. Pardon me. Let's see. Did I get a... Screw it. We'll go to the Superman Spider-Man image one more time. It's a Spider-Man rumor, but it's specifically Miles Morales. There is said to be somewhere floating around in the ether over at Sony a project that is a live-action Miles Morales movie. We've actually talked about this in a number of rumor mills previously. This one's new because it's being fed by the producer. I can't remember her name right now because it's not in the notes because, say it with me, children, I take amazing notes. The live-action Miles Morales Spider-Man movie is said to be in the works somewhere, but they are saying that there's going to be 2 more Spider-Man movies that happen before we get live-action Miles Morales. One of those 2 movies is the Across the Spider-Verse the end of the trilogy, effectively, which we already knew was coming. The other one is being speculated that it's going to be the next and potentially final Tom Holland Peter Parker movie. So, likelihood on this one, ooh, that's a little bit rough. Yeah, I'm addressing chat real quick. The Pirates of the Caribbean situation, there was a version of that movie, the female Pirates of the Caribbean situation, that was in fact shot down during the Johnny Depp case. Because that was the role that he argued that he lost because of her accusations. So, yes, I think there was a project that was going to be an all-female Pirates of the Caribbean that was canceled, but it's more specific. It's not the idea of an all-female cast version of Pirates of the Caribbean. It was that specific version of an all-female cast Pirates of the Caribbean. So, this rumor is saying that it's still on the table. They're just going to be recasting a lot of those roles and very probably adding Johnny Depp into the movie because they want to make money. So yeah, they're approaching AO. No word inside of the rumor mill whether or not Margot Robbie is still connected to it because she was originally connected to the one that was canceled. So is she still relevant enough in the cultural conversation? Probably. She did just get nominated for an Oscar, I think, for Barbie. I don't know. I didn't watch the Oscars because I don't care. But that is a fair litmus test for the cultural conversation. And I'm pretty sure she was nominated. I'm fairly certain I'm not making that up. But yeah, so that version is done, but there is still a female version of Pirates of the Caribbean on the table. So yeah, back to our final rumor was Miles Morales. Oh yeah, that's right. Likelihood that we are going to be seeing a live action Miles Morales. So I think it's worth noting that Tom Holland, this was a few years ago at this point, it was about 3 years ago, he speculated in public that maybe it was time for him to hang up the spider suit. Maybe it was time for him to move on, and that way they could move on with the different version of Spider-Man. He said very specifically they should potentially cast a Miles Morales for live action. The lot has changed since he made that comment, so I don't know how relevant that comment still is. I mean, when you throw enough money at a kid like that, and any kid really, but a kid of his approximate age, that they're gonna probably change their mind really quick. So, will we see live action Tom Holland before we see live action Miles Morales? Yes. Live action Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, I should say. Will that order of operations happen? Will it go animated Spider-Man movie, live action Peter Parker, played by Tom Holland, and then Miles Morales? I don't see, there's very little to contradict anything that's pointing in this direction, so I'm going to put this one right about 75% as well, because it's coming basically straight from a producer. Granted, a lot of things can change in the time it takes to make those 2 movies, so I can't go super high with it, but that's pretty strong possibility. And that my nerds, is approximately where we're going to call this a night as far as the... I am so lost right now. As far as the regular show goes, like I said, this is just because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. I'm not going to spend all day editing an episode on Valentine's Day. I think that's just a little silly. So you get what you get. I appreciate anyone who is here, very specifically Chris Ortiz, for actively contributing to the news. I appreciate your face, boss. And anyone watching in post, as I am sure I'm gonna have to analyze the video and see if I just need to take the VOD down and re-up the recording. But this is, again, a raw recording. I recorded this all live. No edits are going into this bad boy. And, yeah, I appreciate you nerds for joining. We will see you guys next week for a properly edited and pre-recorded episode. And always remember, if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here. I think I might do some gaming stuff, but that might not be live. I might just put that up in post as well. Either way, I appreciate you nerds. If I do go live again, then you'll see it. And I'm going to stop rambling. Thank you very much. That's the end of today's episode. We'll see you next week, guys.